Yo, what up, a-holes? Thank you for tuning into the Holistic A-Hole podcast. My name is Eric Levi, and I'm the Holistic A-Hole, the mommy blogger with balls, the inconvenient truth of health. What the hell is going on? Thank you for tuning your podcast dial here to the Holistic A-Hole podcast, where today we're going to talk about probiotics. And I'm going to kind of work through some thoughts I have about probiotics, not even about probiotics themselves, but more about just kind of the usage of probiotics. And I don't think they're being used right. I don't think people really understand what they are. And I have a feeling that this could potentially not work out as well as we think it's going to. So I want to just kind of discuss some thoughts around, not all the negatives of probiotics, definitely the positives of probiotics as well. It's a wide-ranging topic. I just want to kind of get clear on what we're doing with probiotics, because they're fucking everywhere. But before I do, I want to update y'all on my current smoothie situation. So a couple episodes back, handful of episodes back, I was racking my brain to figure out how many episodes back. I know I could have just whipped out my phone, busted open my iTunes, and seen, what episode this was, but I didn't. So I'm just gonna plead the fifth on that one. And but a couple episodes ago, I was talking about smoothies, and I was giving you all the listeners a pretty nasty verbal lashing about your smoothie game. And let me say this: he who throws stones in a glass house, okay? Because man, did I just get a fistful of truth right upside my brain dome recently about smoothies. Not smoothies, but an ingredient that I'm putting in my smoothie. And, this has shook me to my core. And it is this. I believe I've disclosed what I put in my smoothie on this podcast, but I put a lot of really great stuff in there. I put, kale, broccoli. I put... Wouldn't it be great if I was like, I put all kinds of great stuff, and then I was like, kale, broccoli, I'm out, bitch. Drop the mic, rip down the curtain, go to the back, go backstage, do a line of coke, bang 12 groupies, even though I'm not even at a stage. I'm in my apartment on my couch. No, that's not all I put in my goddamn smoothie. I put all kinds of stuff. I put kale, broccoli, I put pumpkin seeds, I put dandelion greens, walnuts, hemp seeds, chia seeds, flax seeds. By the way, I grind those all up. They are all grinded. Don't cheap out and get like the flax meal or, any of that. It's processed. It's mixed with stuff. There could be heavy metals. Do the grinding on your own. That's my own personal holistic a-hole smoothie tip of the day. Oh God, what else do I put in there? I put little yellow banana. I put a full green banana. Green banana, great source of prebiotic. Oh God, what's the stuff called? Resistant starch. Great source of resistant starch. Basically, that stuff just goes in your mouth and then goes into your, your stomach. Doesn't get broken down in your stomach. Doesn't get fucked with in your small intestines. Goes all the way down to your large intestines and feeds all the good bacteria. Makes butyrate. Makes all kinds of good stuff. Keeps your colon working just right. What else I put in there, man? I was putting dates, but here's one of the changes I made. I would put a date. I discovered this a couple months ago. Used to go no date. Then I got, just mad hooked on dates last year sometime. This is back when I was really into like the vegan YouTube community. In some respects, I was trying to still be a vegan YouTuber. Was I doing that last year? I don't remember. But there was this one dude, I was watching this guy like Durian Ryder and Freely the Banana Girl, and they're just crushing literally boxes of dates. So, I got hooked on dates here and just been crushing dates. I mean, for a good year, maybe even year and a half, maybe even 2 years. They're a great price at this grocery store here at in my neighborhood. Because this is where all of the Middle Eastern people go. They love their dates. They love their hummus. They love their tzatziki. They love their grains and chickpeas and tzatziki. And they, it's all in one little section. Oddly enough, by all the cereal, which like regular American cereal, like Cocoa Puffs, Trix, Frosted Flakes, Cocoa Puffs, Fruity Pebbles. It's all there, along with dates. And oh my God, just the rate they were selling these dates at, around here you cannot get like a package of medjool dates, which are really, I'd say, like the poor man's rich date. I don't know if you necessarily, me, if I got really rich, I didn't care about my body, I would just eat medjool dates all day. They're amazing. Even though I could afford the next date up, I don't know what that's called. I know medjool, it's not the best, but it's really freaking good. It's the one with the seeds. And but market rate for those is like $7.99 for a little, I think it's like a 8-ounce little box of them or whatever. But then the Middle Eastern store had them for like, fucking $1.99, bro. $2.99. It was just unbelievable. And then I went through a lot of variations. They've gone through some things, they were pulling them off the market, then they were putting them back on at way higher prices. I had to settle for the Degleat Noir dates, which are, those are they're great, but they're just like, they're like the McDonald's fries of dates. They're good. They're great, but they're also just, they're not right. They're pitted. They look like they're just dipped in some kind of, sugary syrup. They're fantastic. They're still loaded with fiber. Same thing with the medjools, loaded with fiber. But man, I could talk about dates all day. But either way, I was putting one date in my smoothie. And I just read on the internet the other day, it's got like insane amounts of sugar, like 20 plus grams of sugar. This person said 25 grams of sugar. I don't know. I have to really dig into it. The date world seems to be kind of a weird world where nobody's talking about the fact that dates are just the most amazing, sweet. Is it a fruit? Whatever it is, it's a fruit. But nobody's talking about the date being like not good for you. So I want to get some science in there and not just, get all my facts from Freely the Banana Girl, even though I love what she does. Durian Ryder, I could watch the channel. Dude's kind of a douchebag, but whatever. Either way, I was putting a date in my smoothie and really sweetened it up. It got really good. And I was like, oh man, this got a lot of sugar. So pull the date out of the smoothie. So now automatically my sugar content in the smoothie minus, hypothetically 20 grams of sugar, which is huge. Keto people, you know what I'm talking about. Get the more sugar out, the better, and that's where I'm at right now with everything. Like I'm just, as I'm focusing more on ancestral diet, I don't even like the word diet, but just like ancestral, eating and food consuming. Can we, God damn it, just say diet? Just say diet. The ancestral diet. And I am finding that sugar it has no business, unless it's coming from fruits. That's really only where I want to get my sugar from, but it has no business being, in you. It just doesn't do anything good. Like, yeah, your cells need glucose 100%. I am down with that shit. Carnivore people, you people are out of your goddamn minds. But in reality, your body does not need that much glucose. And the amount of glucose we take in, any kind of refined sugar, any kind of even just like syrup and all this stuff. Like you don't want that shit. You don't want that sugar. But you want sugar with like a lot of fiber that comes with it, like apples, berries, watermelon, mango, papaya, banana. I ate a ton of bananas. I should probably cut back on that stuff too. But either way, dude, like the big thing that I had to pull out of my smoothie, I realized was the psyllium. I started putting psyllium husk in there, probably like 5-6 months ago, and find out you put the psyllium in there, or the psyllium, and the whole point of psyllium is that it pulls, it binds to minerals in your body, and then it basically flushes them through, I believe, the liver into the stomach, and then out into the what do you call it? The rectum. You poop it out. So if you know me, I was putting psyllium in my smoothie. So really, in theory, I was just all of the nutrients I thought I was getting first thing in the morning. Just been a big lie. Like the Trump-Russia collusion, right? Just a huge lie. Been lying to myself all these months. Just completely nutrient deficient because I thought I was doing something good. The psyllium, stop it. I'm going to take it at night, though. That's when you want to take it because that's when your body's detoxing. You flush through the psyllium, or if it's activated charcoal or bentonite clay or any of that stuff. Good to take at night because just, everything's getting detoxed. Wake up in the morning, take a big poop, and all the heavy metals, all the, toxins, all just the bad energy that happens in your body. The cortisol that was just shooting around your body all day from work and driving and, relationships and the news and, all kinds of stuff. Just, you get it out of you. Just get it out. Poop it out. So, that was a big find as far as smoothies go. So look, I guess my point is, hey, if you do smoothies, we're all in this together. No more of this, my smoothie's better than your smoothie. No more of this, hating on Instagram celebrities and YouTube celebrities who have devoted their lives to the art of making delicious, nutrient-dense, whole food smoothies. Just take what you can out of life and make it love and put it in your smoothie. That's all I'm saying. And make sure you chew it, and make sure you don't use psyllium, and try to keep the sugar content as low as possible. And you do it first thing in the morning, not first thing, but like whenever your breakfast situation is. Oh, the fat too. Yeah, the fat is huge. Coconut oil, and believe it or not, a little bit of butter, grass-fed butter. Not putting Land O'Lakes in there, but some good grass-fed butter right into the smoothie. Well, blend it in the smoothie. Don't just like let it sit there like a little butter canoe just floating around the top of your green smoothie. That sounds disgusting. Okay, so, man, hold on a second. Hydrating with some Berkey water. By the way, I would love to be have Berkey as a sponsor. I really believe in their filter. It's a pain in the ass, I'll be honest with you. And hopefully one day if I do become a sponsor, I'm going to have to, obviously cut that part out. But they're a pain in the ass to clean. That you have to keep it up. You gotta clean it. That's like a big charcoal filter thing. God damn it, you gotta take it apart. You gotta unscrew stuff. You gotta run this charcoal thing under the faucet or running water. So it has to basically sweat out all the water, all of the filtered water inside. And then it's just a huge process. You gotta have a fluoride filter. But if you get it popping, man, which isn't hard to do, it's just you gotta dedicate like a half hour to 45 minutes to just do this. For a little bit I was having to do it like every week. But now it's been like probably 3 months, I think, since the last time I cleaned the filter, which is a record at this point. But it's supposed to be like one every 3 months, every 2 months, every 4 months. It's really not that often. And you get the best water, like without a doubt, the best water you're going to have with, by the way, all the minerals that you need, but none of the fucking fluoride and chlorine and all that stuff, And then the Life straws are pretty popular. Okay. So I'm not selling freaking Life straws, although, God damn it, I would love to. Okay. So probiotics. The thing about probiotics, I talk to a lot of people. I feel like everyone I know at this point is taking probiotics. You know what I mean? Like probiotics have kind of just become... I don't even know what to compare probiotics to. Probiotics have become the probiotics of gut healing. But the thing is that I noticed that a lot of people are doing is people are just kind of taking probiotics because they heard it was healthy, or they're just trying to get more probiotics in their diet, which is not a bad idea. That's actually a good idea. However, I think the thing that people don't understand about probiotics, and it's very hard to understand, okay, is that probiotics are for your gut bacteria, okay? We're talking about bacteria. I can barely talk about bacteria. You know why? Because I'm not a biologist. I don't think I passed high school biology. I was terrible. So what do I know about bacteria? Little to nothing. I just know that the body is made up of 9 parts bacteria to every 1 human cell. That's insanity. That's a lot of bacteria that your body is made up of. Keep in mind, these are populations of all kinds of different bacterias. You know, how many? I really have no idea. It's more than like millions. I think it's like billions. I've heard people say trillions. Your body has a lot of different bacteria. And when you take these probiotics, it's only the 2 kinds of bacteria. Off the top of my head, I don't know the name of them. One of them is like something Bulgarianism, and I only know that because I'm married to a Bulgarian, and that's what they take pride in. They take pride in the fact that they have a famous gut bacteria named after them, or dedicated to them. So, hey, God forbid we ever forget the Bulgarians. What did they do? They gave us gut bacteria. Yes, thank you, Bulgarians. And then the other one is like Stephalitis bactifilius or something like that. And look, I'm not going to look this up right now. My computer's really slow. My phone is feet away from me, so I can't, I'm just going off the top of my head on this. But you know what I'm talking about. So you're going to put 2 bacteriums in you, which I understand through science and studies and stuff. They've said, hey, these are the 2 bacterias that, that do a lot of the heavy lifting, which, I've heard they do. At the same time, I think people are now convinced, and it's the same problem with keto, which is that people think that just by taking probiotics, you have general bad health, Just take probiotics, that shit's going to work. The confusing message is that what people are trying to say, who are proponents of gut bacteria or of probiotics, is, and maybe even not even the person who you're hearing this from knows this, but somewhere down the line, they're getting the information as that because your gut is really where all of your health begins and ends, okay? That is absolutely the truth, right? From the time you put a piece of food in your mouth to the time it leaves your a-hole, that's where all of your health problems happen, in that space between those 2 events. Food goes in mouth, food goes out butthole. All that time between those 2 events, that's where all of your health problems happen. So, and the gut is where all the immune system comes from. That's it controls the immune system. It controls your mental health. It controls, your blood pressure. It controls your liver. It controls so much, right? So much. So that's why people say like, oh, all you got to do is just, what does your gut want? Your gut wants, or your gut is made up of bacteria. So just give it probiotics, and then all your health problems just go away. And if only it was that simple. Unfortunately, it is much more complicated than that. Again, I'm not like a fucking, award-winning, Nobel laureate cardiologist or anything like that, or gut specialist. This is what I know. This is what I've learned in my travels as a, right now, nutritional therapy practitioner student. but just being a dude out there in the health scene, but yeah, the probiotic is not there to like fix all of your health. In fact, it does very little to fix your health. It might only make you poop once, a day extra. And, the problem is with some of these bacteriums, it might not be good poop. It might be like the diarrhea. And if that's the case, then it's not working. You got to stop. You got to 86. You're out. Get that stuff out of the plan. Put a cease and desist on the gut probiotic protocol. And just take a hot second and recommence what you're trying to do with your health. Reassess, like, where are you with your health? What are you doing? Are you like actively sick? Do you have nagging things? Do you have actual conditions? What are you trying to do? Okay. Not to mention with a lot of the, probiotic delivery systems, some people take the pills. Some people if you take the pills, really only get the shit that's like high quality. Don't get your probiotics from CVS. Don't get your probiotics from Walmart or Costco. I promise you, those are not good probiotics. Those are probably doing a lot of bad to your gut. Who knows what they're doing? If you start messing around with bacteria, it's a community. It's a ecosystem, and everything like feeds off the other. So a lot of people's health problems come from a condition called dysbiosis, which basically is your gut bacteria just being completely fucked, right? You're not lacking gut bacteria. You just have a lot of bad bacteria. You might have some good in there. Your good is what's kind of just keeping everything going, but there's way more bad than good. Or you might be in a situation where all of your good is gone because you've just been taking antibiotics. Maybe you have a diet full of, high trans fat, oily, just terrible fucking sodium and refined sugar, high fructose corn syrup. Maybe you have just a terrible diet. Your gut is going to be your gut bacteria is going to be just a disaster. It's going to be a monster. You might be forming something like colitis or IBS or Crohn's or a goddamn ulcer or something, And if you're taking probiotics, you're actually not making the problem better. You're making it worse because basically what's happening, if you have any of those conditions I just listed, basically what you're doing is you have like a lot of bad bacteria, and now the probiotics are just feeding the bad bacteria. In your brain, I know the advertising on the box told you that it was feeding your good gut bacteria, but the people who made that box, I promise you, they're either in China or they're here in the country, and they have very cheap sourcing materials and very shoddy manufacturing processes. Not to mention, there's a lot of plastic probably involved. Then there's probably a lot of sunlight involved and heat, and all of these factors can really taint your supplements with and your probiotics, which is really just bad stuff. Okay, so you could be just taking just garbage and just putting it into your gut, despite the fact that on the box, the picture showed you a nice picture of like your health improving or something, or your good gut bacteria just loving on all of them good probiotics. But truth is that that's not what's probably happening, especially if you've taken probiotics and you still have like these symptoms. Maybe something got better, but maybe something got a lot worse. Typically that's what happens. That's my whole story of being a vegan. Some things got better and then some things just got chronically bad. And that happens anytime people do diets, any diet you do. It's like, people do Weight Watchers, and at first they lose, 20 pounds, and it's great. And then what happens? They see a picture of a donut, they realize they miss donuts, and then, 36 hours later, nobody's seen them. They're just buried under a box of Dunkin' Donut boxes, just licking their fingers, just licking the boxes full of all the crusty Dunkin' Donuts frosting on the boxes, just sucking down iced coffees full of sugar, because that's what they do. It's yo-yo. It's your body has balance. It needs balance. If you've been fat your whole life and then your body just loses 20 pounds, if you don't have the right balance, especially of minerals and nutrients and fatty acids and all these different things, you're gonna crash. That's why they're called crash diets, because you crash, you fall apart. But probiotics are not going to solve your problems in that regard. But if you figure out a good gut rehabbing protocol and you fix the more foundational things in your diet, like you just aren't, like you're not eating like the fried food, you're not eating the donuts, you're not eating all the, just the flour and the sugar, and you're not, putting, phosphoric acid from soda in your body, and you make like an honest commitment to try to rehab your gut, just start there with your gut. You start chewing your food, you start eating slower. This is the thing I talk about a lot, is that the pace that you eat, right? That has a lot to do with how your gut reacts. If your esophageal sphincter, that's a sexy way of basically calling your throat or the top of your stomach. If your esophageal sphincter is constantly opening up to let more food in, you start to wear that muscle out. This is where you start to have problems with stomach acid. This is where you start to have just, more inflammation in that whole pathway. So, you start developing better eating habits like that. Don't focus focus on nutrition for sure, but, also don't be so hard on yourself. Maybe do like a bone broth, maybe do like a little bit more fluid diet at first, just to kind of let things just kind of rehab, and then you start doing, some probiotics. Definitely you want fiber in there. I know there's a lot of people who will swear by the low oxalate thing, or the, Jesus Christ, what's the other one? I've heard it like a million times in the keto community. Oh, there's a very specific, I can't think about it. I can't think of the name right now, but there's another one of these diets where they're like, there's certain foods to avoid. Low oxalate is like the one I know off the top of my head. But, if you eat the fiber is what gets eaten by the good gut bacteria. If you're eating high fiber food, if you're eating basically whole fruits, vegetables, grains, seeds, and I don't mean like wheat. I know wheat can be a little suspect, but if you're eating like quinoa and buckwheat and, things like that, there's a ton of like little kind of easy grains that are much better for your like digestion. You start getting more of that stuff in there, and then you start throwing in some probiotics. You start throwing in some, we didn't even talk about kombucha. Jiminy Christmas kombucha. This is like what is like this is like the canary in the coal mine right here. Kombucha. Like I was just talking about the pills, but kombucha, this is like, oh my God, a freaking epidemic. We're going to have right now, kombucha's been around for goddamn hundreds of years, maybe thousands of years. I make it in my apartment, have for the last 3 years. But now it's like people just go down to 7-Eleven and, pop a kombucha. And, dude, those kombuchas are just loaded with sugar. They might have probiotics, but the sugar is also feeding the bad bacteria. So it's just not even, there's no point, okay? But if you drink good, like, sugar-free or very low sugar kombucha, granted, you need sugar to make kombucha. This is like real science right there. But if you get like low sugar kombucha, it's okay. But don't do it if your gut bacteria is all fucked up, and then you're just dousing it with sugar and then, probiotics. So just relax on the probiotics. Take them. I'd say if you have probiotics, if you notice them, I'd say just scale them back. Don't take them every day. Take them once a week. Take them twice a week. But if you have a lot of health issues, don't throw down on the probiotics thinking that's going to fix your problem, because it's not. They're good in sauerkraut, kimchi, again, kombucha. But again, you don't need to eat that stuff every day. Just fix your foundations first, right? The digestions, just start there. And then, get more vitamin C, get vitamin D, get your vitamins and minerals, the foundations first before you start messing with the gut bacteria. Cause that could go real bad real quick. You know what I mean? You don't want to end up with real bad leaky gut or some just chronic situation because you fucked with your gut bacteria, And also, last thing I'm going to say, stay away from antibiotics. That's the number one thing. All right. Just cut it with if you got a cold, it's not an antibiotic it's going to fix you, but at the cost of a lot of very valuable gut bacteria. Just stay in bed and rest. It's more probably adrenal fatigue than anything else. Okay. We have to start kind of changing that mentality as far as I got the cold, I'm going to get antibiotics. Oh, I got the flu, I'm going to get antibiotics. Dude, just lay in bed, drink water, not orange juice, just water. And don't take antibiotics, because that's the source of most people's gut problems at the moment. So we'll talk about that on another episode. But for now, we're going to get the hell out of here. I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. If you are a probiotic believer, I don't say believer because I believe in them, but if it's your thing and you've seen good results and, I'm wondering what your take on them is. Do you do them a lot? Do you not do them? Let me know. Shoot me a tweet. Shoot me an Instagram. Shoot me a Facebook. Oh, there's a new Facebook group that I made called Holistic A-Holes. So if you love the podcast and you want to get more into a kind of a community here of like-minded A-holes, join the group Holistic A-Holes, where we can share all of our great holistic stories, all of your gym pictures, your yoga poses, your recipes, questions about health, anything like that. I want to start kind of getting a little bit of a community going here, because I think that would be really fun and really cool and really helpful for a lot of people. So make sure you go on Facebook, join the Holistic A-Holes, check out the Holistic A-Hole YouTube page. And if you're new here, make sure you subscribe, leave the podcast a 5-star review on iTunes, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Thanks so much for listening. Peace.